back to my channel. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I appreciate you spending time with me today. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share the videos. Also leave your comments at the end of each video to let me know what your thoughts are. I would love to chat with each and every one of you. Follow me on all social media platforms at Views by Beck 1. So that we can keep the conversation going. I would so love to be in communication with you all. I thank you so much and I love you. So I'm going to get into this next video. It's kind of a continuation from the previous video. And it's more so about rushing your journey. Now, a lot of, I would say, African people or Caribbean people, you can probably understand this message a little bit more because we come from a society whereas we are basically expected to do certain things a certain way, right? They put so much pressure on you becoming a lawyer, you becoming a doctor. I know for some cultures, that's what your parents want you to become. A lawyer, a doctor, anything less than that is not good enough, right? So we have this pressure of when to get married, pressure of when to have kids, you know? These are all societal, cultural pressures that's placed upon us. And I want to talk about that really briefly in this video. Hopefully it's brief. So don't rush your journey or the society standards. They shouldn't be the one to dictate, you know, when and at what age you should accomplish things. Take your time. Just do things when you are ready so that you can succeed in it. Very important. A lot of people get married because the family is expecting them to, or because the family is pressuring them to do so based on age. What ends up happening most of the time in those marriages, it dissolves. It doesn't last long. Why? Because you never wanted to get married. You were not ready. So it's important for you to do things when you are ready so that you can actually be successful in it. Most importantly, enjoy your journey. It's no one else's journey but yours. So you have to enjoy your journey because you're living for you. Keep that in mind. Another reason why we are so depressed as you know, as a people, a lot of people are very depressed. They're unhappy. You can see someone that's married, have kids, you know, has a decent job, and you know, you're watching them from the outside looking in, and you're saying to yourself, wow, he or she has such a beautiful life, and you get jealous. Oh my God, I love their life. I wish it was mine. But what you don't really know is that those people are really not happy. It's not about how it's coming across to the world. If you were to get to know those people personally, you would see that they're highly unhappy. They're highly stressed out, and they're basically depressed. Why? Because they're in a situation that they did not want to be in. They got married because of societal pressure, you know, and as a result, it brings them unhappiness. So we have to be very mindful of what we wish for. But most importantly, we need to be mindful of what we're doing and why we're doing what we're doing. You know, you can have that aunt or their mom or that uncle or that father that's telling you, well, it's time, I want this, and I want that. Most of the time, some parents are living through you. They're trying to have another life through you, believe it or not. You know, so you have to be mindful not to live for them, but to live for yourself and find what truly makes you happy. And make sure that you are ready before you jump into something. That's one part of it. Another part of it is that those family members or friends or loved ones, they don't mean any harm. Most times they really don't. What I've learned in an African community, you know, being that I'm Nigerian, what I have learned is that most times your parents are telling you to do certain things and have certain expectations of you because they want you to succeed. That's their way of helping you succeed. Sometimes they're not really understanding or realizing that they're stressing you out. They're bringing more pressure and stress into your life. And as a result, their approach is horrible. I mean horrible. I know people that actually have stopped talking to their parents simply because of the pressure that the parents or loved ones were putting on them to get married, to have kids, you know, to be a doctor. It became a lot of pressure for them. As a result, they just cut the family members off. So it's important to understand why some parents do this. They're not doing this because they hate you. Most times you're doing it because that's their way of helping you become great in life. So we as parents have to be very careful how we are approaching this. You can help someone become great by not pressuring them to doing things. How you let someone become great is by allowing them to do what they're passionate about, allowing them to do what makes them happy, helping them find out who they are so they can live in peace and happiness. That's how it should be done, not necessarily putting your expectations on people. That can only bring pressure, stress, depression, sadness, and that's ultimately not what you want for that person. So we have to be very mindful of that. Once again, don't go into things if you're not ready to do it, because whenever you're ready to do something, you will naturally have the itch. I remember as I was growing up, I believe I was in my 20s, and I started to get that itch of, you know, I want to have kids, I want to have babies. And shortly after we got married, my husband and I did have my kids. But I naturally felt that itch and that longing of wanting to have kids, you know. So whenever it is that you are ready, you will have that natural itch to do it and to acquire that. So we have to pay attention to how we're feeling and what it is that we want without the outside pressure. Now, if you don't have that itch, it's okay. But if you do have that itch and that longing to do those things, then definitely get to work. What are you waiting for? Not with the kids part. Of course, you're waiting for a mate, a reasonable mate. So not the kids part. Not the kids part. But I'm referring to if you want to get that degree and you're having that itch to go a little further in your studies or to do something more. Absolutely. If it's something that you can attain by yourself, go for it. But if you don't have that itch and you don't have the longing and you're only doing it because someone is telling you to do it, I would probably say don't. If you're not passionate about it and you don't want it for yourself, don't bother doing it. Because if you jump into that thing without you wanting to do it for yourself, most likely you're not going to succeed, and that's not what we want. So once again, the pressure from the family members, the intentions may not be wrong, but it's just the approach, which is doing more harm than good. A quick personal story. So I remember an acquaintance of my mom. Every time there was a social gathering or a function, this woman would always ask us the same question every time she sees us. It doesn't matter if she just saw us yesterday, she still will ask the same questions. What school are you in? What is your major? Are you married yet? These are questions that would constantly come up whenever we saw her. And it was always with the most condescending tone. I mean, a really disgusting tone, you know. And it's like you had to prepare yourself ahead of time for that event, knowing that she was going to be there, because these are things that she was going to ask. So you have to mentally prepare an answer before you even get to the event, just so you can answer her and keep it moving, right? And it was as though she was in competition, you know, in her mind with the other kids versus her kids. It was a really weird situations. And I think she just wanted to make sure that no one else was doing better than her kids. It was always a comparison, but her kids were amazing kids. They didn't really care, you know. So it was just her and her mindset, which was horrible. And it was actually quite repulsive. But at the time, I was pursuing my master's, you know, in speech therapy, and I would always give her the audience to shut her down politely with my accomplishments. But when her daughter, one of her daughters, did it to another acquaintance of ours at another social gathering, I felt highly uneasy, because not everyone wants to get a master's degree. Not everyone wants to get a doctorate degree. These types of questions we have to be mindful of. We have to be mindful of what we're asking people, how often we're asking the same questions, because that's another way of putting pressure on people. And this young man, he did not want to have a master's degree. That wasn't in his path, which is perfectly okay, because he was in his own path, in his own journey. And we have to recognize that you are not your neighbor. You are you. You have your own path in life, and you have to follow your path. A master's degree or a doctorate degree does not equate success. Another topic. But anyway, so he basically, did not have a master's degree. He wasn't in school at the time. I believe he had graduated high school, but he didn't go to college. He wasn't pursuing that path. He was doing something else, business related. And one of the daughters came to him, and she made a rude remark about it, and it was as though she was scolding him. And initially, at that time, I didn't have this growth. So of course I went off, and I had to address her and let her know that you don't have a right to do that. You don't ask someone that. You don't pressure someone in that way, and you don't make those remarks to someone. That is not okay. It doesn't make you any better. It doesn't make you feel good. It might make you feel like you're better than him in that moment, but it's a very, very, I don't want to use a curse word, but it's a shitty thing to do, right? It shows that you have a really horrible character, and that's not okay. So as a result, I spoke with her about it, and I basically let her know that wasn't okay, and she stopped doing it. As far as I'm concerned, she never did it again. It's at least not in my presence. So it's important for us to watch how we're approaching people, what we're saying to people, and how condescending we can be to some people because they didn't want to pursue a degree. That's another way of pressurizing people, and that's not okay. There are more than one ways to be successful, so we have to be very aware of that. But if there is a constant need or organic nudge from within yourself to start a project or to sign up for that course, I would recommend you go for it. Trust your instincts, but most importantly, be authentic to yourself in all that you do. Do not do things for someone else. When it comes to your path in life, you have to make it work for you. Because if you start to do what everyone else is telling you to do, you're going to be miserable. There will be no joy, there will be no passion in what you're doing. And if you're doing things with no passion, I find it to be really sad. So I would never recommend that you succumb to that pressure and do something that you're not happy with. For the parents, please be mindful of how you are pressurizing your children. Okay? I know that you love them. We all love our kids, but we have to be mindful. The best way to approach this is to find out what it is that your child is passionate about, okay? And steer them in that direction. Because at the end of the day, I think we can all agree that we want our kids to be happy, most importantly, and have peace of mind. So let's eliminate the pressure to become something that we wanted to be, but we couldn't be, so now we want them to be it. That's not okay. They have their own lives to live, and that's that. So make sure you're doing what it is that you love to do, because a lot of times what I notice is that, and I want you to ask yourself this question, by the way. Ask yourself this question. Are you truly happy, or are you just distracting yourself from sadness? Think about this for a moment. Think about your current life. Think about the path that you chose and have chosen to take in life. Are you truly happy doing what you're currently doing, or are you just distracting yourself from sadness? I want you to think about it, and I want you to give me your comments. Leave some comments, give me your thoughts below. Let's chat, let's talk about this. And before I end this video, I want us all to stay safe, very important. Stay safe. Make sure that you're wearing your mask. If you do decide to step out, wear your mask, stay safe, wash your hands. And before I get to the last part, I also want to mention the current situation in Nigeria. I would like to mention the SARS situation, hashtag EndSARS. For those that are aware of what's going on, if you can, hashtag EndSARS in your posts. Let's bring some light and attention to what's currently happening in Nigeria. For those that are from Nigeria, that is our home, regardless of where we currently are, and it's disgusting. Disgusting the way the government is being ran over there, exactly everything that he's putting the citizens through, you know, them getting killed for absolutely nothing. I've honestly watched so many videos online, and it makes me really, really sad to see this. You're watching people's brothers, people's sons, you know, getting killed for what? Having an iPhone? Is that a crime? Having dreads? Is that a crime? Looking like something? It's disgusting, it's terrible, and I'm with them all the way with the peaceful protesting, and I do pray for change. And if you can, hashtag EndSARS. Let's bring some more attention to this and keep them in your prayers. Thank you so much, guys, for watching once again and spending time with me. It's always an honor to spend time with you all. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Click that little bell button below so that you can be notified whenever I drop a video. I love you all, and I'll see you in my next video. Mwah.